I would like to kick things off and welcome. It's 4:01 Adelaide time. I'd like to welcome those that are joining us to our initial Installers Group Mesh Master launch. We're going to have a bit of a chat for about 40 minutes and we'll just wait for various people to join us. We can see live on the screen now, we've got a number of attendees coming on board, which is excellent. I'd like to introduce you to those that are on the screen at the moment. So I'm taking this seminar today with a number of hats as the chairman of Zimmi, and we've also got one of our co-founders and our chief technical officer and director of Zimmi Limited, Gerard Tentori, with me as well. And the two of us are going to share an exciting 40 minutes together. We'll just give everyone a chance to sort of come on. Just give us a couple of minutes to do that. I see Jordan and I are working with our new fancy backgrounds. I see someone's got their hand up already, and that looks good. There's a panelist with their hand up. That's me, actually. So I'm learning about how we run all these things in the new video world. So I'd just like to remind everyone, while I've got plenty of attendees here, that what we're seeing today is being recorded, and assuming we don't make too many mistakes, we can play it back to others and learn from each other. So I'll just give it another couple of minutes. I've got Cassandra here helping our end. I think give it another minute, I think, as we get people to pop on. And we've then got a couple of presentations to share. So Jordan is going to go through a couple of things and I'll kick things off. So we've got about 40 or something to come along. So we'll just wait to see how things go. We're not quite there yet, but we'll get there. I hope everyone's well around Australia, and this seems to be what we do a bit of late, doing a bit of travel. We're getting around. I was with Jordan, I know Brett, several Zimmi Limited CEOs online as well, and we've just had we were just together recently launching our new Zimmi head office up in the Gold Coast, which is very exciting for the evolution of where this wonderful new technology is going and how we can utilise it not only here in Australia, but what we're doing around the world. So exciting times for everyone. It's about 4:03 now Adelaide time. So I think what I might do, I might kick it off and get started with the official part of the presentation. So what I'll now do, ladies and gents, is I'll share. Need to make sure I'm looking at that screen. I will share my screen and I'll bring up the presentation we're going to be working with today, at least my portion of that. So I'll just make sure that's coming up okay. I've just got Cassandra here with me. Has that come up on the screen okay? Okay, terrific, thank you. I've got the open questions up here as well if we get some of those come through. So please feel free to answer some questions. I think in this version of Zoom, there's some Q&A, little Q&A box down the bottom. I'm in presentation mode, so it's a bit, I can see those, but I can't see who's doing it. So we'll work it way through. So, okay, let's keep moving. So again, thank you for joining us. We're going to be launching our new installers group we're calling Mesh Masters. We're having this webinar today to kick it off and to go through what it's all about with you. So a couple of things to cover on the agenda today. First thing is the evolution of Zimmi, what started off as a dream that I suppose Jordan and myself had, and we've had in the industry, to bring to life connected devices and how we do that in the fixed wide space. We'll cover where Zimmi's been, where it's going. Most importantly, the fact we're now a very small listed public business, which is very exciting. And the foundation around that we'll talk a bit about. We'd like to talk to you about the Mesh Master program, what it will mean to be part of the Mesh Master Installers Club or Installers Setup, which we'll work through with you. And then we're going to get Jordan directly to go through Zimmi 2.0, our software, and now with our new HQ on the Gold Coast. It's constantly evolving. And we're going to share with you some of the new features and benefits around that and work through. A couple of questions coming up. Maddie and JT, you might answer those live as we go and work through those. So Jordan can answer a couple of those. So I'm going to keep moving. The evolution of Zimmi, It's amazing, really, what we've done to bring together some world-class technology here in Australia, and it's evolved into Zimmi Limited. We are now a listed company on the stock exchange. Our code is ZMN. We have Brett Saville on the call, who's our CEO. Jordan and I are both on the board. I'm the chairman of Zimmi Limited. And we've become more than just product hardware for wholesalers. Zimmi specialises now as a business in getting all types of products created, connected, and working smarter in living spaces and working spaces around Australia. We will continue to develop and evolve. The idea of our listed entity was to give us the opportunity to bring investors on the journey, to raise capital in a market that needs capital. The Gerard group, my group, is still a significant shareholder of Zimmi Limited, but we have many other stakeholders. And we are having a journey with a stakeholder group, making Zimmi Limited one of the foremost connected electrical living space player in Australia and hopefully around the world. So it has evolved into far more than a bunch of products. We're bringing the convenience of getting connected to the touch, to the tap, to the talk. We're making it so easy with our technology behind the scenes to eliminate the need for training, to bring together an industry at all levels to engage in one of the biggest revolutions we've seen. And we're trying to make the convenience of control so user-friendly and unscary, so to speak, to bring that touch, tap, and talk and the convenience of connected controls to everyday electrical living. And it's very, very exciting to be able to do that. And when you listen a bit to Jordan and you've listened to the journey with us, most of those on the seminar that are using the product understand it's about simplicity and that convenience of control. In terms of the hardware, Zimmi being the software, Zimmi being the cloud, Zimmi being the ecosystem that brings to life much of our connected philosophy. The hardware we have, we call the current version of hardware Powermesh. Jordan and I and the team continue to work on other versions of hardware, and that will continue to evolve. I think I've said during many presentations I've given around where we're heading as an industry, the hardware journey we're on is at the start of a journey. The software journey will forever evolve in terms of its user features, simplicity, and connectability. The hardware we now have, as you can see in front of you, a suite of product, that will continue to evolve. And we've got some wonderful new hardware platforms being developed now, which will be launched later in the weeks, months, and years ahead. What is Zimmi Limited all about? I've touched on that. We have gone from incubating an idea within the trader family to really coming of age. Brett Saville is the former, well, he's our CEO, but was the CEO of Quantify. We've merged those businesses together, taken many of the excellent aspects of what Quantify were doing and the intellectual property they built up. We merged that together with Zimmi to bring together that small listed entity. And we've now renamed that. And we've now got Zimmi Limited on the Australian Stock Exchange. We're so proud of that. It's a huge achievement. You can see on the screen there in front of you, we've just launched our new head office. You can see a picture there of Brett, Jordan, and myself hanging onto the sign and bringing together the next phase of development for all of the stakeholders, not only our shareholders, but as equally important, the staff members and the team members that have put together the wonderful dream that Jordan and I saw many years ago. Great to have Brett on board, great to bring these two businesses together to really form a new solution. Zimmi Limited allows us to capture capital from the open market, raise money, invest those funds into fast tracking the Zimmi Powermesh journey, not only here in Australia, but we have dreams to fast track that globally. So the opportunity of the technology we've developed here in Australia has significant reach. And with our new Zimmi Limited vehicle, we're very excited about capturing that moving forward. We are very much proudly Australian. We stand up a lot in front of customers and talk about the team we've put together. They're on the screen there now. Wonderful men and women that are dedicated to bringing the Zimmi journey alive. It's happening right here in Australia on the Gold Coast. There's the new HQ, you can see it. Really exciting. And there's not too many, in fact, I suggest there's none, that are doing what we're doing here, trying to develop wonderful world-class product for Australian electrical stakeholders right here on the Gold Coast. Our engineering lab, software development, testing facility, training facility, we're going to grow into that with a team of people that is absolutely second to none. So congratulations for where we've got so far and having that opportunity sitting in our doorsteps. We'll take many customers through the facility and we'll work with stakeholder groups, electrical wholesalers, contractors, consultants, architects, end users, builders on understanding the connected opportunity that exists in front of us. Powermesh, and it won't just be through one channel. Our electrical wholesale channel through our trader partnership is really important to us, critical, as so many tens of thousands of contractors shop there. But there are other channels that are going to welcome connected devices. We're not about promoting cheap plug and play imported technology. And we also understand there's a need for some complex KNX, CBus, DALI style channels. We want our electrical professional solutions to be available through a number of channels where electrical contractors and demand is created. And so we are going to have a number of channels available that's selling the Powermesh Zimmi product. All of the idea is to broaden the scope of the availability and also broaden the message. Powermesh is available under a Lucci powered brand through Beacon, for example. I know that comes up and we speak with our contractor partners that are working with Trader to understand why that is. And that is the market is significantly larger than one channel. And the more we're all working together in creating demand and awareness for professional electrical connected solutions is what's going to drive the opportunity for us. So we welcome that discussion as we move forward. The Powermesh Installers Group. I think, Jordan, you're with me online. I think we've covered that point now. Have we not? We're okay. We're 20 minutes in or thereabouts. Did I cover that okay?
Excellent. Excellent, Simon. Yeah, I think we've definitely covered that off. And I think the idea of the Powermesh Installers Group is really to bring together a lot of supporters that are already using Powermesh, giving them the ability to discuss new features. I'm going to run quickly through Zimmi 2 in a second, but really wanted to create this installers group so that we can all, you know, have a platform where we can grow together and share the experience, because the reality is our success to date has been built on the feedback and the support of people on this meeting. It's the ability, unlike a foreign company that the Australian market may be too small to listen, Zimmi is proudly Australian, and it gives us a platform that, you know, we can listen, we can accommodate, and even some of the great features I'll show later were just feedback from our current users.
100%. Thank you. I just want to now, for those on the call, just again, fly 1,000 feet or 10,000 feet for a sec and just reconnect with the opportunity that this industry has in front of us right now. It is, without doubt, the biggest single opportunity we have seen in the electrical group, stakeholder group, ever, in my professional and humble opinion. We have an opportunity that every device can be connected, will be connected around the world. And if you look at the space when it comes to fixed wire electrical devices for now in our journey, you look at the opportunity. We've got 10 million existing dwellings in this country. Inside each dwelling, there'd be 25 electrical devices, dimmers, light switches, power points, that represent what we call holes of opportunity. And if we could have a dream, a vision, that we could grab every single one of those, and there's 250 million. And even if we did it at $50, and I know we're not quite there yet at $50, the technology will take time as volume grows to come down in price. But even if we did it at $50, it is a $12 billion opportunity for this industry at large. We've never seen anything quite like it. It puts the data structured cabling revolution into insignificance when we consider this opportunity. And even if, as an industry, we only get 10% of that right in the next 5 years, it represents a multi-billion-dollar opportunity for us as an industry to get connected. And so in order to do that, we have to have simplicity, retrofitability, scalability, with first-class simple products to use and get behind. And I believe we've done that and will continue to do that very successfully as Zimmi. We know where it sits. We know we've got wired systems. We know we've got plug-and-play devices. We want to fit smack bang in the middle and represent what it means to be connected for fixed wire devices in this country and beyond. Powermesh Installers Group, Jordan, and those with us on the call. Launches today. We want to bring together those that have a Zimmi account who are registered as contractors. You can be part of the Zimmi Installers Group. Fundamentally, it means we want to work with those that are installing the product to understand where we're heading and why. Jordan's already mentioned many of the features, not only today, but moving forward, are developed and they're implemented as a direct result of feedback from the installer community. And if we're going to, together as a group, capture that opportunity I showed before of that $1 billion opportunity plus that's out there, we have to take advantage of the fact that we are local and we are flexible and we listen. We've got to embark on some joint marketing initiatives that help Powermesh installers capture leads. What do we do together to allow ourselves to bring together the tools and the opportunity, marketing-wise, product-wise, software-wise, understanding to capture this for all of us? And so the Installers Group, if you have a Zimmi account and you are a contractor, you're in. And the objective is to build a community around what we can do to promote connected devices. That is the objective of what we're launching today. And that's we would love to have. Imagine if we start with a dream, like we started years ago, we've got nearly 10,000 devices on the mesh today. You imagine if we could have a group of 500 or 600 quality Zimmi installers in our group helping us develop product for the software and hardware engineers in our group here in Australia. It would be remarkable. It is a dream that we're kicking off today with a user group. We're pushing absolutely the professional solution. There are those plug and play devices out there. We are not promoting those non-professional solution devices. They exist, they're around. But quite frankly, we've learned so many reasons why they're not going to give the right ultimate solution to the end user. If you're going to control lights, we're doing it at a switch. And if you do it at a switch, you have to be a licensed electrician in this country by law. So professional installers need to get behind this. Is precisely what we're doing with launching the group we have today. It's about spreading the word. We're not going to go through all the reasons why you want to choose the mesh. We'd be here all day. And George's just going to talk a little bit about Zimmi 2.0, but there are so many reasons why Powermesh is the professional solution of choice. The first one I'll look at on the screen in front of me is Australian owned and designed. We should not underestimate how powerful that is. Many of the other competitors out there are bringing overseas technology, are not going to have, not that that technology is not okay, I'm not going to knock it, but what people can't do is this. They can't work with the installers of Australia and actually make things happen locally. So very excited about why choose the mesh over other options. And we want our installers group to understand why what we're doing here at Zimmi Limited is so important and what differentiates us from others in the market. Spread the word is the message there. And for those that are using us, which all of you I hope are and have, understand why we're different. What we're going to do for the installers group, we're going to grow with you and with our first group members. We're going to have regular correspondence together, these webinars, email, share, open those channels of communication to us to allow us to better understand what you need. If you're interested in the Facebook social media side of communication, let's open these Facebook groups and let's be proactive and let's help each other understand what we need through that mechanism. We're going to create some wonderful sales and marketing tools we've got some sales and marketing resource now at Zimmi Limited that we can really leverage to give our installer group the tools they need to help promote, understand, and leverage that to create demand. And then we're going to generate leads from marketing campaigns. So we're going to run Zimmi-based marketing campaigns to generate leads, and we're going to throw those leads out and welcome those to our installer groups. So it's all about helping each other get connected and capturing the opportunity that's in front of us as an installers group. That's what it'll be about. Essentially, becoming this mesh master and part of the installers group is about working together to generate some new business and some profit for us as an industry. And let's reinvest that in more connected devices, more connected solutions that allow us to grow that pie that I showed you that is phenomenal. And as I said before, we've never had an opportunity like this that technology's brought us in a simple way to help this industry grow and develop. So essentially it's about becoming partners in generating profit from the most exciting new category and opportunity that we've seen in the industry for many, many years. I'm now going to hand over Jordan to your good self to take us through Zimmi 2.0. We've been about 25 minutes or less, so we're going pretty well. I haven't talked too long, mate. I'm going to hand over to you to do a bit of Zimmi 2.0, and then we'll do some nice Q&A after that as we work through, okay? So I'm going to stop sharing, and I'm going to hand over to you, Jordan, from Queensland. Thank you.
Thanks, Simon. Yeah, today I just wanted to run quickly through some of the features of Zimmi 2. We brought Zimmi 2 out in March. A lot of feedback came in throughout last year, and the software teams put some fantastic new features in there. Some of you probably have used it. Some may have already spotted some of these features, but I wanted to give you a bit of recap what the development team achieved and also some insight into where we're going. We split our development into 3 different areas. We obviously have the Zimmi app, which we just launched version 2. We also have the Zimmi Core Cloud. I'm going to talk about some new services that we provide there, such as the API. And finally, we have Zimmi compatible hardware. Obviously, this is Powermesh. As we grow internationally, we have other types of hardware that work on the platform, but these are the 3 development areas of an IoT platform and essentially what we do at Zimmi. So you'll notice just with Zimmi that straight away we get an onboarding. We had feedback that users were a little bit confused when they first came in. So here we can give a bit of insight, and this will constantly update as we add new features in future versions, so you actually know what's new. At the top of the list, we'll ask to make it easier to share. And I know it can be quite empty when you open that and suddenly you have to set up these devices. So we have 3 really easy ways to now get set up. One is an invitation system. So you can easily invite someone else if you want to join the network. You can scan a QR code. This may be on the Zimmi card or phone to phone, which I'll give some examples of, or you can start from scratch with your new own network. We've just made it a lot easier to start with those 3 routes. First of all, it's a one-click join. So if you're a familiar user, and a lot of you on here use Zimmi, it's all about adding other users. And the new invitation system makes it really easy, because if you open Zimmi and you've been invited to a network, you simply are told you are invited and you can simply join. Every other software on the market, you're constantly trying to look, how do I join? How do I send this email invite? The beauty about it's just popping up. And if you have customers that you're installing this for and you're inviting them, they don't have to think too much. They're going to be greeted with okay here, and they're straight into controlling their home. The other thing you can do is scan a code. That's another way to get started in Zimmi. What's the QR code? Well, at least everyone understands what a QR code now is, thanks to COVID. I think the average consumer is very aware of QR codes. And we have 2 types of ways you can use a QR code. The first place you may see it is on a Zimmi card. If you have not used the Zimmi card through the Mesh and Go process, quite simply, you can set up your whole network. And if you are an electrician on Zimmi with your details entered, you'll see the Mesh and Go option. And you can simply click that, scan this card, and the entire network is passed on this card. And it makes handover extremely easy, particularly in the builder situation. If you're a contractor working with builders, you're disconnected from the end user. And the beauty about this card is you can simply scan it. It can be included in the handover pack, and then scanning it, the homeowner takes full control. It also removes it from your phone, so you don't end up with all these different networks you've installed. So we've had that prior, but what's new in Zimmi 2 is we're actually letting users share networks together really quickly. So if you go into the main menu and click Share Network, you have the option to use a phone-to-phone transfer, and that's exactly what it is. You can see the phone on the left is the person that wants to invite someone. It comes up, and the guest can simply scan it. So it is one of the fastest methods of joining a network. You don't have to send an email and then wait for it to arrive, and then, oh, it got spammed or it's in their spam junk folder. This is so quick because phone to phone, you can add new people to the network. We've actually done a whole sort of update of the user interface, again, based on a lot of your feedback. The first one was on multiple meshes. You know, it's very common now that we might have a network at home or a network in the office or a granny flat, and switching networks can be done just as easy as switching rooms. So on the top menu in Zimmi, you can see the room drop there, or you can click on the left to quickly swap between your networks. We've also updated all the control screen. Before, a lot of devices had similar icons off and on, and now you can see that all the devices have their own look. So it's very easy to recognize a power point from a light switch to a dimmer, just visually and quickly. There's also little icons there that let you know if you've got power lock or perhaps an auto off timer. So it's just much easier to navigate and understand. All the setting screens are consistent from version 1, where they've varied from different devices. You can see now that they all have a very consistent look. So when you're going to change your settings, it's not confusing. And the main menu has also been updated with the most common tasks, which from our system, we can tell adding a new device, setting up a network, or sharing a network is the most common task. So this will constantly change depending on user behavior on what is most common. The other one was for you professional installers. One great thing about Zimmi is it does allow the consumer to set up a device. So if they've reset it or need to add it, we've always had that fantastic automatic searching feature where you can just hold the phone near the device and it will find it. For you experienced installers that want to try and install these as quick as possible, we've added the manual add where you can simply remove the skin off the product, and using your camera, you can use the QR code on the product to quickly add it. So if you're doing multiple devices, you no longer have to sit there and search and stand next to it. You can pop the cover, scan it, and quickly add it in Zimmi. We've also added more to the schedule. We've had a lot of feedback that one of the most common features you're going to do in a schedule is set it up for lighting. And lighting, typically you want to come on sunset. Sunset changes depending on the season. When now in winter, it's getting dark quite early. So we've built in automatic sunrise and sunset timers. So if you want all your lighting to turn on sunset, no matter what your location, it'll change that time every day. We've also added app and voice lock, which allows you to set a particular time where you might want voice control locked, or you want to lock out the app. Or a very good example is with power lock. The power lock essentially lets you put a schedule in to say, perhaps between, you know, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, that switch is disabled. It's really good for safety, but I think in a commercial environment, these light commercial where you've got a power point, you can simply lock it during the day, where if you don't want people plugging into it, you can simply lock them out. Perhaps you'd want to unlock that in the evening as the cleaners come in, or it could be as simple as a light switch. We recently had a major retailer install Powermesh, and every time the cleaners come in at night, they used to just switch on all the switches, and you could have 10, 20 or 30 kilowatt of power in these massive retail situations. So the power lock by schedule was an easy solution to say, hey, the cleaners can't turn on every light. They can just turn on the ones that they clean. So there's so many different applications. You have to sort of think, what one will you use? But having power lock as a new schedule gives you a lot of flexibility. Now, a little sneak peek into Zimmi 2.2. It's a little upgrade from Zimmi 2. We're adding in notifications. And notifications, quite simply, will let you choose when different things let you know that they've happened. So this is found in the lifestyle section. And a classic example could just be when something's turned off or on. Hey, the heater's been turned on. Hey, the door's been left open. Hey, this is using too much power. Please let me know. Or it stopped using power. And that's a really easy way to know something's not working. If you have a remote location, a fridge, a freezer, or any essential device that you want to know if it's running or not, a notification can be an easy way for you to be told at any time it stopped working. For me, I love the door, knowing that my garage door has been left open, or perhaps even a light switch turned on can be a very simple security system. If you're getting a notification when a switch or a power point turns on in your house and no one's there, it's a real downright simple security system as well. There's another few surprises. We've done a lot in the back end to improve performance. Android, there are so many different phones with Android, so many different makes and models. So we've constantly been upgrading and supporting more of those models. And in Zimmi 2.5, we're putting a lot of work into really getting compatibility for the broader spectrum of smart devices out there. So it's been a little look. If you don't have it already, please download it from your favorite app store. Most people have their apps to automatically update, so you're probably already using Zimmi too. So a little bit of insight there. I also wanted to give you a look into the Zimmi Cloud and some of the work we've been putting in there. For you that don't know, Zimmi Cloud is based on GCP or Google Cloud, and that is hosted across the world. It is not relied on third-party services. It's one of the most secure, scalable, and reliable platforms in the world. And because Google have a lot of presence in Australia, it also means that Zimmi quite simply is faster than before. We've got a lot more power to grow and expand with new features. And also just simple things like the Google Assistant, you know, having a few seconds quicker response with your voice commands is another added benefit. We've been working with Google quite closely. We are a certified Google partner. I think as Simon mentioned when we start, we are essentially a certified Google IoT provider globally. And whilst we're providing solutions for both Powermesh, we're expanding to provide more solutions on this platform. And what it means is we just can work with Google and create some new features. An example here was the timers with the Google Assistant. This launched with Google too. And instead of just using voice to turn something off or on, you can actually say a specific amount of time. You might want to turn the bedroom fan on at midday. Even when you're not home, you know it gets hot, you want some ventilation. You might want to say, turn on the garden lights at 6:30 p.m. You know you've got guests coming. So having time intelligence is pretty exciting. We've worked for about 6 months on this with Google, with the voice team up in Tokyo. And now you have all the features in all the Powermesh devices to use timers. Make sure you update your firmware to the latest version to enjoy this feature if you've had your Powermesh devices installed for a while. Another big ask, I think on our previous session, everyone wanted Amazon Alexa. We're proud to say this is now available today. You can link your Zimmi account with Amazon Alexa. And if you prefer to use the Alexa environment, you can use all your voice command with your Powermesh devices today. There's both ecosystems. Everyone prefers a different one. We don't want to choose an ecosystem for you, but having support for both leaves the decision entirely up to you. I myself am an Apple user. We're currently working with full Apple HomeKit integration. The team is developing this at the moment, and we look forward to making an announcement in the future. However, if you want to use Siri now, you can indeed use it with Powermesh. I use my iPhone every day to control Powermesh devices. And quite simply, you just need to go and set up a shortcut. And you can use any shortcut to do anything with a Powermesh device. So if you need some help with this, you can simply jump online or go to our support site and learn more. or just Google the web. It's not hard to do, and you can put all your favorite shortcuts in there for Apple. Another development with the cloud was our Zimmi API, and we did mention this last year that we're working on it. We're proud to say we're now released the beta testing, and for any of our Powermesh installer groups, anyone on the phone today, if this is something that's important to your business model, we can definitely open up the beta trial program for you. And essentially, the API is really taking it one step further than just the smart home market, smart home products you see in the shelves of JB or Bunnings. The beautiful about the Zimmi API Connect is if you prefer to use your own backend, if you're using, you know, you're installing Control 4, or you've got KNX in a building, or you've got a C-bus in an existing installation and you want to add some of the Powermesh products, the API gives you your own way of doing your own programming. So if you want to write your own software, you want to write your own integration, it's all available there. To sign up, simply contact us at support@zimmi.life and opt in for the trial program. We'll send you the simple manual, which has all the commands so you can start integrating. And we're also happy to set up a workshop with one of our technical support team if you have any questions on the API as well. A very powerful tool, and it really gives no constraint. You know, we've designed Zimmi to make it very easy for the consumer to do common tasks, but perhaps you're doing more commercial or upper domestic and you want to add your own functionality beyond Zimmi, this is the tool for you. So a little bit of work has been happening there in the cloud. Finally, I want to talk about the third part, or essentially the hardware. We're really excited where we've come with Powermesh. It's being adopted very quickly. And the suite of existing products, I think we originally started with a PowerPoint and a dimmer. The range last year grew to a whole range of switches. We introduced the fan controller, but we have been upgrading these as well in the background. One, with the switches, we've improved efficiency. So with your 2-wire, it has more and more loads that you can support. The PowerPoint, we found that very commonly the PowerPoint is installed in low locations. It's close to the ground, it's behind some furniture. So we've put a lot of work into our antenna design. And coming in September, version 2 of the product has an aerial or antenna that is 3 times as powerful. There's a 300% efficiency gain, best in class in the market. And the way we achieve that is by putting the antenna outside of the wall. So it's actually sitting in the front, unlike a lot of others. When you look at a puck, or you look at a Wi-Fi mech that all sit in the wall, it's amazing how much difference you get in reception when you're out of the wall. So by putting a specially designed antenna in the grid plate of all our Powermesh products, we get best in class reception. We've also added behavior link to the fan controller. I know a lot of you love having dimmer along with the fan instead of a switch. So by adding behavior link to the fan controller, you now have the option to use that button to link to a dimmer as well. And then finally, one little upgrade we've done is you've all seen that QR code on our product, which is used for scanning. We've actually found a lot of consumers will try to scan that if they're adding or setting up a device. And now it's smart enough that Zimmi will actually tell you, even if you just use your normal camera and your normal phone, if you try and scan a device, it takes us straight to support and shows you how to do that. So some little upgrades there for our existing product, but we are launching some new products, of course. The garage door controller is coming this spring. I just love the Powermesh garage door controller. It's one that I do use every single day. We all have our garage remote. You will continue to use that remote in some applications, but there's a whole new world of applications that make the Powermesh garage door controller so much more convenient. It works with your existing motor. So even if you've got a 10-year-old or a 15-year-old motor, they all have a push button input, and that's where you wire the Powermesh garage door controller to. And then we have a door sensor, and this simply mounts to your door. And unlike any other controller in the market, we have door positioning intelligence. So you can actually open it partially. Maybe you've got pets and you want to let pets in and out. Maybe you want that package delivery when you're not home. You can open it a little bit, slide it under and close it. For me, I just love the voice control. When I'm driving home, when I'm at the roundabout, I don't have to fumble around for my remote. I don't have to sit in my driveway and wait for the door to open. I know when I hit that roundabout, I have a Siri shortcut, open the door, and by the time I get there, it's open. I simply drive in, and when I walk into my house, I'll commonly just ask Google to close it. The question of security came up. It is indeed secure. So the first layer of security, of course, is with your phone. You have to unlock it, whether it's Face ID, whether it's Touch ID, whether it's a password. You have to unlock it to use voice. The other thing we have is in Zimmi, you can set a PIN code. So the Google Assistant is actually intelligent, or if you're using Amazon Alexa, and she'll ask you for a PIN code to open your doors, so you're totally secure. Another couple of features, you've got all your door history. You can see every time it was opened and closed. You can see if people have come and gone, or you can also tell, a very common one for me is just if you forgot to close the door, there's nothing worse than wondering, you're going away on holidays, did I shut the door or not? Also in development is our new blind controllers. You can see the very familiar look to the existing switches. So you can simply install them alongside each other without too much difference in appeal, but you can see the little indicator there up and down. And here we have a single channel and a double channel. So these are the use of majority of AC blinds that have a switched active there for open or close. Plus you can actually open it to an intermediate position. So if you want to take an economical AC blind and make it smart, the Powermesh blind controller is the tool for the job. Of course, you have all the advantages of Google as well, using voice to open and close or stop your blinds. Finally, this is the most awaited. I don't think there's more questions or when's this coming or we really need multi-channel dimming. We've had so much about our multi-dimmer switch. We're pleased to announce that it's coming this Christmas, and we have both 2 dimming channels in it and 2 relay switches. So you've got a combination there to dim a couple of loads, switch a couple of loads, and having that switching, you know, it might be exhaust fans, it might be motors, it might be exterior lights, but having 2 dimmers there as well, you've sort of got the best of everything there. For the buttons you don't use, of course, they're available for behavior link, so they'll never go to waste. You can behavior link to another PowerPoint, might be your garden lights, you might behavior link it to a garage controller to shut your door. Behavior link, having a spare button is always handy. A very unique part of this dimmer, that whether it's, you know, a smart product or not, we're really proud of the dimming technology that's inside this product. We've been working on analog dimming for years. It's not going anywhere. The reality is that phase cut dimming is used in homes and offices and will for many years to come. And one of the big issues, if you're in an affected area, is indeed ripple. The utility companies use ripple to control tariff and switch things, and unfortunately it results in flicker. So the team have worked very hard to come up with what we call ripple smooth technology. And if you're an infected area and you know how painful and how expensive and how many callbacks that you have, the Powermesh dimmer is just another solution that can fix this very common problem. Finally, so many skins. I know that a lot of our supporters out there have Powermesh installed. Aesthetics always change, trends always change. White, black, glass look, simple look, matte finish. So we're rolling out a whole range of both snow leopard and cloud leopard to mix with your trader product, or other looks where you just simply want those options to promote to your builder or your customers. So watch your space. There's so many skins. It's not going to just stop. There'll always be different looks and feels coming out. So just to finish, I know a lot of you support is very critical. We've put a lot of effort in with Zimmi support. It's an entire new platform that you can go to support.zimmi.life. And really, it's just a knowledge base. Anything that you want to do in Zimmi, whether it's, you know, I want to set a schedule, or can I put a timer for this, or can I behavior link? It's a powerful database that is growing all the time, where you can simply go and punch in your question and have the solution right there. You don't have to wait for someone to get back to you. It's also something that you promote to your customers. A lot of the time, it's users needing to understand how they do it. So rather than a callback or how do I do this or phone calls coming to you, it's a very powerful tool for your end customer to come and use. Of course, you're never going to solve your problem every time. So if you need support from the Zimmi team, they can open a ticket. You can send it on Facebook, Messenger, or simply an email to support@zimmi.life. And unlike maybe one of these large international companies where you think, geez, will I ever get a response? The Zimmi team are there to answer every inquiry we get. And we pride ourselves on having Australians answering questions from Australians. And this is a powerful tool for you to use. So on that support thing, I've given you sort of a brief overview of the developments, both with the Zimmi app, both with the cloud, and also with the hardware. We're not stopping there. Now that we are a public company and we have evolved our resources, the team are working very hard. We have some really exciting announcements coming this spring, both in terms of new hardware that I haven't shared with you today, and also some fantastic new lifestyle features in Zimmi that we will be announcing in spring as well. So there's a bit of an overview from them all, from all our developments, and I'd love to sort of open it up now. I can see some questions building up. I'd be happy to answer some of these questions. I think we've got first with Andrew. Yep.
Thank you, mate. I just wanted to say well done. We've been 52 minutes on that, and again, I've heard you speak. Together, you and I have done these hundreds of times, and it's a joy, mate. Thank you. Fantastic. It was all very, very clear. So we're going to open the floor up now to some questions. There are some coming through. We have Horizon available now. I'm just going to type a few myself. I'll let you guys see them as well. Sorry, so I just wanted to say thank you because I've answered one live there. Thank you to Andrew Boyd for congratulating us on Amazon Alexa. That was terrific, and working with the Apple HomeKit. So thank you, mate, on saying that. There's a couple more questions coming through. Jordan, I have a couple here also. We'll just share that I had given to me. This is one that I know frustrates some, and I've been into you a lot, you and I. Is there a chance that we'll see auto updates for Powermesh firmware? What are we doing about making firmware easier to update, mate? What's the plan there?
Yeah, so first of all, we now ship, every product that we ship is updated. So the beautiful part about that is if you're ordering a product for your project, they will come with the latest firmware installed. I know a lot of you have given this feedback because you install a job and you have to stay there and update all the firmware. So the very first step is in Australia, we update all that stock before we send it out. Secondly, we're working on an update manager in Zimmi. So this is part of our spring announcement where we'll show you a new update manager that makes it extremely easy for you to leave your phone and let all the firmware update. It's always important to keep your firmware up to date. It means you get the latest features and the latest functionality. And sometimes if you're having a problem or have a bug, it's typically fixed with a firmware update.
Thank you, mate. I've got one other one here that I know that we are working on a bit, so I'll get you to answer it. What about a Powermesh energy monitor for a distribution board to include total power monitoring? Whole issue of measuring energy and getting that up on the cloud for intelligent connected applications, energy monitoring on the board?
Yep, so right now, all of the Powermesh devices have power monitoring them for each individual device. The ask for having the whole home is definitely on the development map. We all know that a simple current clamp would provide this functionality, and I'm quite excited about the possibility that you could actually see exactly how much your fans are using, or an appliance plug in, or your lights using of your total load. So watch this space. A clamp to be able to get your total home usage is something on the development timeline.
Excellent. Thanks for sharing that, mate. I know we've been working on that together. Just the last one there, and Scott's asked another one on the screen there, which I'll let you answer about the disability switch. Jordan, You can see that one there. But another one here, just about sunset and sunrise, some problems. You mentioned keeping the firmware update. Why doesn't sunset, sunrise appear on my app? What can I do about that?
Yeah, so a lot of the features and functionality, you must be running the latest firmware to enjoy them. So if it's the latest firmware, just go into the settings of the device, and down next to firmware, there'll be an update button if there's an update available. And if there's not an update button there, it means you're running the latest version. The sunrise and sunset was a new feature that came out with Zimmi 2. So if you had your devices installed last year, you can simply update that. Based on that feedback, we're also putting some, as part of that update manager, we'll give you some reminders, just so if you're not too sure, you'll be able to know some of those features that you're missing out on.
Do you want to
I saw
ask
Scott's question about,
yeah.
I saw Scott's question about approved disability. Did mention we've got a bit of an exciting hardware announcement coming this spring. There's definitely, this is on our radar. We see this as growing at a very rapid rate. Google themselves, you know, voice control, whilst we might think it's a bit of a gimmick and it's sort of new and some people, oh, not so much voice. When we look at people in aged care or disability, voice is one of the few tools that they have to use technology. It's very hard in aged care or disability to either learn new software or just the physical process of getting up and down or grabbing a phone. So it's really exciting seeing voice evolve in this area, and to make that dream a reality, NDIS or aged or compatible hardware is going to be an important part of that. We recognize that, we agree with that philosophy, and all I can say is watch this space in spring for an announcement. I also have one more here from Andrew with the scheduled power lock. So the way power lock works is once it turns off, it stops it from turning back on. So if you're running something and it's switched on, it will continue running. Power lock won't start turning things off for you. What it does is it avoids things from being turned on. So just set a schedule, and you can effectively, you know, like you've said, you've had a good point there. You can add a schedule to turn it off, then you can add a schedule to lock it, and you can achieve that functionality. So obviously, Andrew, you've got a bit of experience there, and you're demonstrating that, you know, you really think about what these applications are. You can find the, you know, solutions to a lot of these little problems just by being clever about how you do it. And I think that's what's so great about Powermesh is the functionality or what you do with it is really up to you. So thinking of these applications, or the imagination is probably the limitation.
Excellent, Jordan. Thank you. I'm just conscious of time. We've been 58 minutes according to this. We're recording it. So for those that haven't joined us for this afternoon's launch of Powermesh installers and a great update from Jordan, you're welcome to use this and record it back. It'll be available for us in order to do that. So, mate, thank you. Thanks to everyone for being part of it. Thanks for the attendees and the panelists we had. I hope that we've, again, ticked off something quite special. You can hear the enthusiasm from us. We love it. This is the most exciting part of the journey we've had in a long time. We're poised with the team to do great things, and thank you for sharing with us. Thank you for being part of it today, and we look forward to doing more updates as we work through. So thanks very much to all, and we'll catch up very, very soon. Cheers for now.